What's up, everybody? We got another great weekend of fights ahead of us. UFC 278, Usman versus Edwards, the rematch. And that means we got some more fight predictions coming your way. If you're new to the show, go ahead, like, subscribe, send this to your friends, your family, so they can get some very important fight talk. I'm Patrick Bunton. I'm here with my good friend, my brother, and my coach, Alexander Romanov. Together, we are one-on-one MMA clinic, the only MMA show hosted by not one, but two jiu-jitsu black belts and two retired MMA journeymen. So if you're not ready, it's time to get ready. Let's go. Let's go. Alex, what's up?
Nothing much, brother. How are you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. I see you got a new mic set up over there looking legit.
Yep. We are getting serious. Like
That's right.
we had a
You,
couple good bets this weekend. So I was like, why not? Like I think PFL paid for it.
hey, you get another good weekend of bets. You can get a headset for Esmeralda, maybe.
Maybe, like I think she's lucky charm, like yeah,
That's
she has a huge head, like I don't know, do they manufacture that big headphones?
Yeah, maybe it's better we keep her out of it, actually.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of last weekend, you made some money, huh?
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. It could be even better, like I had couple. And I mean, like, when the main event in UFC started, I was already drunk. I wanted even to put on Nate, like, I was watching something, like, I was, like, making some meat on the barbecue, and I was, like, ready to put, like, 30, 35 on him. I think it was good, like, when they
Dude, that
actually
fight was
started.
fucking crazy, man.
I didn't watch the whole, but, like, what I saw, it was a mayhem. You remember, like, what we talked last week when I said, like, when I saw his style now in UFC, and everything, and I said, like, how this guy was like a champion in Russia. I guess like his crazy style was like even putting them off, like saying what he did, like what we said, like the other guy. Now my brain blocked. Like
Onama.
yeah, Onama, that David Onama. I
Yeah.
even lost money on him. I think that's the he cost me only on a parlay from the UFC to I think it was a good parlay, like 150 on some
Mm.
saying $5. I don't go too much for now, so it was like pretty good. But I missed only him. I caught like five others. Nina, I don't know. I'm gonna check later maybe if we. But I had a pretty couple pretty good catch, and I missed only him. And you remember what I was saying about Nate? There must be something, like he was like a champion in M1. He was going to Russia, and I guess that's it. Like just like crazy cardio going forward, and that's it.
I did not expect that. I thought like it would be close for sure, but like the way he was really putting it on him and it was actually going back and forth a little bit, but I mean Nate won that fight for sure.
Yeah. Like I said, like Onama was supposed to keep it like a technical, not going in that craziness. And I
Yeah.
guess like craziness overwhelmed him. Like he's good and he's getting better and better, but like I guess like that's even for higher level to stay calm under the storm, and he didn't.
Yeah. This is his first fight in the UFC, so we'll see how he does in the future. But I mean, he showed he was tough, but shit, not tough enough against Nate. So that was crazy.
Yeah. We
Let's
will
take a
see.
look at some of the bets you made over the weekend, huh?
Yeah, let's go over it.
What you got?
So yeah, this is the pretty good one. So basically, only on $10. What I did. This is from uh, PFL.
Right.
So what I did like here just like straight parlay for five, and I was just here like trying to at least return the money, maybe be if in the case I miss one, and luckily I was good on both. So basically on like $10 I was like 175, which is pretty good. Uh, so
Pretty
what?
good. It paid for your studio so far.
Yeah, and invested in our streaming, So thanks to PFL, like.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to say, like here, as you can see, like even let's say that I hit 1, 2, 3, and 5, I would be like 14. Let's say that I managed to hit that one. So I would be like paid off for both, like even what I missed, and I will be like a couple bucks up. Like this is like usually on like this. I mean, you're gonna put more money, so it's
Mm.
good like when you let's say you that I went 50-50. It would be much serious money to gain, but also like you're not gonna lose $100. You're gonna maybe return like a let's say 40, which is pretty nice in this case scenario. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that because I know some guys ask me like about parlays, like, and they try to connect more, and they're like, oh, I missed one, like this is like, so something like happen like that doesn't happen. You give yourself a chance to miss one match.
Mm.
So it's pretty good. But like also like you need to see, you cannot go like heavy favorites. You need to go something around plus 150. What I did here, I did even like a little bit heavier favorites. I mixed it up here.
Mm.
Minus 180 plus 170. What else we have? Minus 180 plus 155. So you need to be mixed. You cannot go like with the favorites, otherwise like even if you hit four, you're gonna lose money.
Right.
That's the only thing that I wanted to say. Do we have something else that I wanted to mention? Yeah, you see, even I had like one super heavy favorite minus 285, which I
Mm.
usually wouldn't put, but like that's the only thing that I really liked, so I went with it, But like that's something that I avoid.
Not that we have a sponsor yet, but what are you using to make these bets?
Uh, just like fuck.
Is this DraftKings?
Yeah, just DraftKings. I think that's the only available. I don't know anything else is there that
Yeah.
you can do online.
Sure, maybe I'll check some of that out this weekend.
Yeah, maybe we can look, like is there anything else like, but that's what I saw from people, like everybody like that I saw DraftKings. I even tried like let's say honestly before we start doing that, I didn't do bets for years. I think like maybe my second year in States, I tried to go back to soccer, because like
Hmm.
for the years before I was like I was working even at the book shop, however you want to call it. I don't
Oh,
know.
really?
Yeah, I was working like almost like a year and a half, maybe two, and like since I don't know, maybe 16, I was like betting on soccer and this, and then like I had too much free time, and I was like, okay, let me try to see like how I'm gonna go, and I tried different systems, different plays, but I don't know. I'm not in the soccer anymore. I cannot, more or less, even like jujitsu, I cannot watch. Like the only thing that I can watch now from the sports, it's MMA. That's why.
Yeah. Alex, I know you've been in America now because you're calling it soccer instead of football. Do you guys
Yeah,
call do you guys call it football back home?
of course. I don't
Yeah.
even know why I said soccer. I guess I'm I'm,
You're
I'm old
American now.
enough. That's
Yeah.
it. That's it. No going back now. I said soccer. Like even if
That's
I
right.
want to go back, they wouldn't accept me.
No.
That's for
All
sure.
right. Should we get started on this main card? There's some good fights here.
Uh, yeah, no, give me a second. I almost forgot. My brain is freeze tonight.
Oh, okay. I think
Go,
I know what you want to
go
pull up.
back to our slide, please. Look at this piece of art. I need to give some props to you. Like, guys, look this. This is like better than I saw that some official guys that work for UFC and some longer. This is pretty beautiful work, brother.
Thank you, brother. I mean, UFC, if you're hiring, holler at me.
I mean,
No, but it's fun. I like both of these guys. They both have impressive records, especially as of late. So like to make this, it was fun. It's always nice when you can stack up all these W's next to each other. Like that's what makes it a good picture. Those guys.
Yeah, actually, like that was pretty good idea to do it, and like you said, like there's no too many guys in UFC that have this amount of heads behind them, like this much W's in the row, So that's something. Another thing that I want to mention.
Ooh, go
Yep,
for it.
yep. We we crossed like on first social media. We have now just like our Instagram and our Facebook page, and we cross hundreds.
We're doing it.
Yeah,
We
we
got 100.
succeeded. Now we can retire. We don't have to do anymore.
Wow.
That's it.
Let's see. Let's see if we
We
can
said
double it in a week. 200 by
we
next
said
week.
101. Like we crossed 101. That's it.
Yeah.
We're done.
Ready
Okay,
to
let's go to the serious work. Enough with the past.
Yeah, on and upwards. All right, who we got first?
First, we have Tyson Pedro and Harry Hansucker. You want to start? How would you say,
Yeah.
Hansucker or Hannes?
No, I think you nailed it.
I'm
Oh
getting better,
man.
I guess.
You
After
know,
soccer,
Alex, I don't know about you. When I was in grade school, I got made fun of for having small eyes. I wonder what this guy got made fun of.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But anyways, for me, this is actually an easy pick, and I think the betting odds kind of reflect that. They have Tyson Pedro as a pretty heavy favorite. If I'm picking someone to win, it's Tyson Pedro. He's fought some high level guys. He's taken 2 or 3 years
3 years.
away from fighting, and then since then he came back. He looked good, like the old Tyson Pedro. Whereas you look at Harry Hunsucker, he has yet to get a victory in the UFC 0-2. And so I just think this is like a tough test for Harry Hunsucker. I know he's coming down in weight to fight Tyson, so maybe that's going to be good for him. But I mean, I don't see a way Tyson Pedro loses this other than getting knocked out like in a flash knockout. How about you?
Exactly how you said. That's the only way that I can see that Harry can win this match. Like, if you go both of them, like Tyson had 11 fights, Harry 12. So Tyson is 8-3, 4-3 in UFC. Harry is 7-5, like you said, 0-2 in UFC. But like, what's very interesting about them, when you combine they uh, their records, like I think Pedro has like only 3 fights going uh, after the first round,
Mm-hmm.
and I think 2 defeats and 1 victory.
Mm-hmm.
And Harry has everything in the first round. So if you want to put your money, like I think easily it's a first round finish. Like now it's gonna be on one side, on other side. Like honestly, like on Tyson Pedro, like minus 740. That's crazy. I think that's the biggest one since we are started to do our show. Like
Yeah, especially like in the UFC, you don't see odds that stacked usually. Usually it's a little bit closer. Um, Being such a big underdog for Harry Hunsucker, do you think it's worth putting money on him?
I don't know. Like I didn't see enough from him. Like just first round. Like okay, let's say he came to UFC on the short notice. He fought, I think, Taiwasa.
Mhm.
Like he got KO'd by Tai. He got KO'd by um, in his last fight. Help me. Who did he fought in the last fight?
Harry Hunsucker. Hopefully, it's the fighter that
I think
popped
you have
up.
in our photo. Like, just let me see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
Oh, Tafa.
Tafa. Yeah. So, and another guy who's in UFC, and I watch him to, and I watch him today. He fought Jared Vandera, who is also in
Mhm.
UFC. Um, and he fought him, I think, in Dana White Contender Series. And there I saw like something like he really like hit Vandera with couple good, but like just what he did some mistake. He went for, and just like after that he shut off like, and Vandera just like ground and pounding him, and he was like even on his belly, like. So I see opportunity like basically if he managed to catch the storm and push it till the end. So now it's
Mhm.
the question again: is he's cutting weight? Is he gonna be a powerful enough? How it's gonna weight cut? But there is like a chance, and I mean, you can play around a little bit.
Mhm.
There, everybody have a puncher's chance, And what
That's
I
right.
saw from for him, especially like in the fight with Vandera, like he can go, he can make a storm, Just like he didn't manage to KO Vandera, but Vandera is, I think, one of the bigger heavyweights, So maybe in light heavyweight, it's gonna be better for him, I don't know, and stays like to Saturday night, we will see, But I don't know, like minus 740 on Pedro, not interested.
I'm picking Pedro to win. I wouldn't put money on him, but I'm putting Pedro to win. Yeah.
I'm choosing first round, and
First round.
maybe like because like on the first round, no, crazily enough, on the first round, like I don't know, the odds are also so bad, so maybe like they're gonna have like a crazy night, and you can guys play on the second round, like go a little
Yeah.
bit crazy and try something to over there. A little bit gambling, let's say.
Both guys don't see the second round often, so that'll be kind of fun if they do make it there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So next fight we have up, there's a little bit of a change as far as we've seen between Marcin Tybura versus Alexander Romanov, a heavyweight fight that has been moved from the main card down to the main event of the prelims. So while we have them up here, let's talk a little bit about this because this is a bit of a higher profile fight than the other prelims, right? It is a heavyweight fight in the main event.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Definitely. Like we have undefeated heavyweight,
Mhm.
and that's rare. Since Tom Aspinall lost, unfortunately, his last match, like I think he's only like a top heavyweight that's undefeated,
Mhm.
especially like he's 16-0, he's on 5 fight win streak. I mean, he's on 16 fight win streak,
Yeah.
and he's really interesting guy. He's coming from a smaller country, Moldova. I was even thinking that he's Russian until I did a little bit more study on him, and I saw he's Moldovan. He was like a good wrestler. He won the bronze on the like how to say that's like university world
Mhm.
championship, like a college. That's under I think 21-year old athletes. So that's pretty good accomplishment.
You
And
know
what?
what's crazy is like it sounds like he has the wrestling accolades, but he also has the submissions to go with it. Most of his wins are by submission, including his last fight against Sherman.
Yeah, he's just putting like I saw like some mistakes in his submission games on a couple fights that I was watching. Like it's
Hmm.
going on too much power, and it's not like even everything is not set up perfectly, not even close. But like he has that weight, he has that power, and he managed to pull it out.
Yeah.
So what I like really, it's like the pace that he's going. Like he's going really crazy pace for the heavyweight,
Hmm.
and he's wrestling like he's trying to do the suplex in the heavyweight. Like he's throwing guys through the air, where he can even preserve his energy and maybe go for something that's like he's gonna spend much less of his gas tank,
Hmm.
but like he's just like attractive. I think he's upcoming, and if he win this one, which is like I think his biggest test so far, we can see him like attacking even top five, and I think he's gonna be really interesting mix for this heavyweight division.
Mhm.
Fresh blood. Like that's what heavyweights need, I think, in this moment.
I would agree. And if he wins like impressively, I think that shoots him up to, not a title fight just yet, but he's getting into the talks there, maybe a title eliminator. But like Marcin Tybura, I think if you look at his resume, he's fought a lot higher level competition, at least bigger names than Alexander Romanov has. So that's one big question that I have is like, how is Alexander Romanov going to stack up against Tybura when Tybura has so much more higher level experience? Granted, like Tybura, he hasn't necessarily won against all of them, but all of the guys he's faced, like Arlovsky, Struve, Verdum, and Verdum in particular, I think was like kind of like an interesting fight because he lost against Verdum, but in the grappling exchanges, he wasn't really dominated, right? He didn't get like, and against Verdum, who submits everybody, right? Like he was at least able to keep it neutral against Verdum, and I think against Alexander Romanov, it could be interesting because, I mean, if you can if you can keep yourself from getting submitted by Verdum, I think that's a big statement. He submitted who like Fedor, Nogueira, Cain Velasquez. Um, so if Romanov beats Tybura, which I do favor him to win, if I should clarify, if he submits Tybura, that's a huge statement. I don't know if he's going to submit him, but I do see him out grappling him, outworking him. Like you said, he has a crazy pace for heavyweight, and I think it's just going to be too much for Tybura. But I'm more so excited to see if he could pull off a submission because that would be crazy.
I think he can. Like what's the difference? Like the ground and pound and the ferocity that he has in his ground and pound. It's hard to survive. And
Mhm.
he like that's why like what I said. Where I think he technically makes mistake, but like he overwhelmed them. Like he have like even like his nickname is King Kong. He's basically like sitting in a mountain, hitting the guy with the
Yeah.
both hands, like and going like this. Like from the that Donkey Kong video game from Nintendo era. Like it's just like it's interesting. Like he's really bringing, so I can see that like basically
Mhm.
Marcin also like to take his opponents down and to work like to smother them ground and pound, but like he's much slower, I think, and the power is, I think, huge factor in this match, but like he has experience, he have solid boxing, solid stand up, like I can see him making a trouble. I just think like that he will get overwhelmed, like. But for me, it's also weird that like also odd makers, how much it is? I think plus 290 for Marcin. That's crazy,
Mm.
Especially like if you go back and he had like before his loss, then from Volkov, he had a five win streaks, so that's also saying something, like he was like on the roll again coming, and Volkov is like hard to deal with, especially like if you cannot take him down. And I think after his match that Volkov lost from, let me say, he was fighting now Aspinall again. I asked you
Yeah.
last week.
It's interesting to me when I see the betting odds for these when you have someone with like so much more higher level experience being the underdog against these guys. Like it just shows that like that record means a lot when it comes to the odds. Like he's undefeated, and I think people are looking at that.
Yeah, again, it's a question also like on the, I think, hype, because you have like some, I was looking at some small organization, doesn't matter that much, if it's not, how to say, and he really like did with with couple solid guys now in UFC. I think he would coming like to UFC with maybe one victory. It wouldn't be that difference,
Yeah.
because Tibura would have that, but they think like now he has like a UFC experience and I think 5 fights.
That's true. He's not new to the UFC, but he
No,
just hasn't fought the big names.
no, but he fought some solid guys. If you go, like mentioned previously, Vandera. He's big
Yeah.
heavyweight. He fought Juan Espino, who I don't know how he managed to get to the limit of the heavyweight. He's one of the biggest guy that I ever saw. Like when I was competing in under the wrestling federation, he was like in Spain team, and he was winning everything, like
Mm.
absolute. I mean, his category, he didn't have a category. So I'm like really like he was doing. I think going to him, I think, and he's 41 years old. Yeah, that's something.
Mm.
I think he was fighting in the open weights. There was no no category for him. He was doing even some weird matches in Africa, like their MMA with the bare knuckle, something like that. Very interesting guy. So like
I
when
gotta
you
check
put
that out.
like to the names that he beat solid guys and all like big heavyweights.
Yeah.
And that's why I think the odd makers giving him more chance than Marcin.
I mean, I am picking Romanov too. I think he doesn't have like he hasn't fought Volkov, right? He hasn't fought Overeem or Struve, but like I think the skills speak for himself, and that ground and pound might give Tybura trouble. I don't think he's gonna have too much trouble taking Tybura down. It's just what happens when it goes down. Is he gonna be able to do what he wants with him?
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. I think we're gonna see, like, I think also like through the whole experience that Tibura has, I think he never fought anyone like this that brings this tool set to the
Hmm.
table. And I think he will have a problems, for
Yeah.
sure. Like that speed, that pace. So I don't see, like, maybe if he catch him like it's a heavyweight again, puncher's chance, you know, there is his chance, but that's, I think, everything else. I would say it's on the Romanov side.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see like fight of the night or knockout of the night in this fight. I mean, there's a reason why they're the main event of the prelims. Usually they pick like the most exciting fight to kind of sell you on the pay per view, and I'm kind of expecting that out of these heavyweights.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. That's why I'm like a little bit. But like you said, probably that's the reason why they're moved to the
Yeah,
prelims. Like, but they for sure deserve, and we are treating them like they're on the main event. We
yeah,
didn't
right.
want to change. We said we're gonna break them, and I didn't. There was no reason to switch it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, brother, let's go to the next one.
All right, next up, we got, I mean, this could be a main event on another card right here. Jose Aldo versus Marab Davilishvili. What you got on here?
Oof, that's really interesting one. So let me ask you a question. Now, talking about the Aldo, when you go, what's the Aldo's most lethal weapon that's in your head?
Most lethal weapon. Okay, so if you asked me maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago,
Okay, I,
I would say his leg kicks.
no, that's something that I wanted to talk about. I was just like expecting you giving me like answer, but
But but right now, I really like his boxing. I like his body punches. I think he's the only one in the UFC to have back to back knockouts with a liver punch, which is fucking crazy. And so, but currently present and 5 years ago, whenever you want to say his prime was, he made his career off of beating, wrestlers who box sometimes. So I actually I don't know if Aldo's the favorite in here, but if he's not, put some money on this guy. Like I like Aldo for this fight just because you could say that he's out of his prime right now, but he doesn't look slower, I don't think, and his reflexes are there. And stylistically, I think this is a guy that he could kind of take care of, right? He's not that much different, in my opinion, than like a Chad Mendez or a Frankie Edgar, Uriah Faber, a wrestler who likes to box sometimes.
Yeah, why I ask you that question, because I was going like, if you go and most would say Aldo leg kicks, that's it. Like if you just go back to Uriah Faber leg and how
Mhm.
it looked like, basically somebody took like a hammer and
Dude.
smashed it. Like, uh, that's my point. Like I was going now and looking like he's not throwing any more leg kicks.
Mhm.
I was really wondering why. What's the reason? I really don't see. Even I was going back like in his previous fight. No, like before Rob Font with Munoz. He throw like three leg kicks and he almost destroyed the leg of Munoz. Like he was,
Yeah.
I think he even fell down after the third one, and he was like weirdly like, I don't know why he doesn't use that anymore.
I wonder if there's something that happened in training that we didn't hear about. Like maybe he got a leg injury or something somewhere down the line. I kind of want to talk about this in the co-main about Luke Rockhold, but um, we don't know because like usually if you throw a lot of leg kicks, the problem is like maybe you could get taken down. And he's got the craziest takedown defense. Like I wonder what his stats are actually for takedown defense because like I said, he made his career out of fighting wrestlers who want to take him down. He leg kicks them anyway and he stuffs the single leg anyway. So like I don't think he's worried about getting taken down. Like he's also a jiu-jitsu world champion. He beat Cobrinha at Worlds too. So like I wonder if it's just a leg injury that we just haven't heard about.
Yeah. Also, like what I wanted to talk about, like I think like he is now easier maybe to be taken down. He's really good in popping up, but like what I saw now when he switched the category and went down, I think maybe that's the reason. Maybe like he spends too much energy on the. But like I think even when he was fighting like last couple fights in 145, he didn't utilize those legs. Especially like I think he was also in both matches with Max. He was like boxing also against Volkanovski. I think maybe he used one or two kicks.
That's true.
So I don't know what, like that's for me like really now when I went back to, I was like, what's going on with this guy? But like still he's really dangerous, like especially like with his jab, like hook to the body with the left, and then like finding that 1-2, his knees are still sharp. And I think he's fighting now differently in 135, like he's pacing himself a
Hmm.
little bit more, and he's just like more experienced, more smarter, like basically similar what they say for Marlon Vera, like he's fighting like a heavyweight, and now I think he was even more utilizing that jiu-jitsu that you were talking about, what we never saw before. It
Yeah.
was just like smash them, like that's it, knees, punches, kicks. Now he's like even like how he won the match against Chito Vera, like whole third round, he was like riding on his back.
Yeah.
So we see more complete Aldo, not that lethal, I would
Hmm.
say that, um, but still fun to watch. Like there's no finishes, but like still like
Yeah.
there's some beating.
There's something like admirable in my opinion, like when you see a fighter who's been fighting for so long and they could change their style to suit like what their body is like capable of doing. I think like the weight cut, like he's never been known as like a cardio king, right? But like maybe now even more at this age as he's slowing down, like you said against Cheeto, like he was going for the takedowns and kind of just wearing on the guys using his experience instead of just relying on speed.
Yeah, I
So
think like he is already legend. You know, like if he managed now to do like I think he's 35 now. If he managed like to win even like a in it's harder now as you older like you probably move up category, you know, like he
Usually, yeah.
moved down, you know, like I think that that would put him in the talk about best ever, like pound for pound, you know, like especially like finding what you can utilize. Like you said, the body is not the same, you know, it's much harder. And I was talking, listening, Luke Rockhold talking about it, listening the body, nurturing the body, like especially in like 35 and up, you know, and it's really amazing seeing Aldo like finding those motivation and finding like the style that really like brings him. You know, like I think the first loss that he have had when he moved down to category against the fighter that's similar to him
Was it
against
Marlon Moraes?
Marlon Moraes. Yeah,
I thought he won that fight actually.
it was super close.
Yeah,
Let's say he lost it, you know, but
yeah.
like it was super close.
Mhm.
And if you notice like because like I'm looking like some small details like in the between every round he was like pretending like he's running in the spot, you know, like
Mhm.
that he is not like it's adjusting. And I think now like and then after that he lost also like from Peter Yan, and I think he's now finally finding the groove. And honestly in my opinion this is gonna be maybe interesting test for him. That's why like I think Marab is slight favorite. Like I saw something in that guy that's really interesting. He can take a punch. He can go forward. His ground and pound is like one of the most like unique. You know, it doesn't look that he's punching, but he's still punching. I think he have a heavy hands. You know, and he's punching from any position. Is he down? Is he up? I was like, when I look at him, I think like even if you put him on the other side of the cage, he would punch through the cage. You know, that makes him really, really, really dangerous. You know, and I think it's we're gonna have really interesting fights.
Man, his fight against Marlon Moraes, speaking of being able to take a punch, man, that fight was crazy. It reminds me of like, one of those bad dreams where you're trying to punch somebody and you're landing, but it doesn't do anything. Like he's so close to getting knocked out, and Marlon's trying to unload everything, but he just freaking he survives, and then he gets a TKO.
Yeah, but like even like for me, it was fun. Like I don't know, I would like to look the scorecards for that one, and maybe like after I don't think he won the round, but maybe he it was like a 9-9 because he really managed to hurt even Marlon like till end
Yeah,
of that round, not badly and for the long time because less time left, but like and then he managed in the second round. Like I think Marlon just like
he
mm,
unloaded everything. I think.
yeah, and I think that's like because like he was one of the guy that was like most exciting for me to look, and
Yep.
I
I
think
thought he was going to be champion for sure.
no, I think he's
Marlon, when he first came, and they're calling him the
that's what
magician. I
no
thought.
no. You said he's gonna be or that he
I
was
when he first came to the
yeah
UFC, I thought this guy
yeah
because he
me
can
too.
knock anybody out.
No. I thought like you still think that he's gonna be champion one day. No, I think he took
Nah,
too much
nah, nah.
damage.
That ship has sailed. I think
Yeah, me too. I mean, never say never. Like we
that's
saw
true.
some guys like coming out. Like I think the Bisping is the best example
Right.
of the ships like becoming the pirate ships, like from Pirates of the Caribbean, like alive, dead but alive.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
fucking what Glover Teixeira. I never thought he was gonna be a champion afterwards. Like after his shot, Jan Blachowicz. Yeah, so even Charles Oliveira, who like looks like he could beat anybody right now.
Yeah, yeah, that's gonna be interesting fight. I cannot wait for that one.
That's a big one.
Okay, who you got here? You said Aldo.
I'm going with Aldo.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is gonna be interesting, but I cannot go against Aldo, you know. And
Yeah.
what I forgot to say about this, I'm really excited about the fights, but from the standpoint what to play, like I'm really like I was like it's
Dude,
so
yeah.
weird, like the odds and the matches, like basically there is not too much. Like I mean, we're gonna see on live, but like this, I don't see like too much, and that's what I forgot to say. You know, like it's just like it's odd.
Do you have the odds for these fight for Aldo?
For Aldo, yeah, it's like on Aldo is plus 110, and on Marab is minus 130.
That's not a bad pick for Aldo, I think. But again, I think Marab, he has less wear and tear on him than Aldo does. So yeah, it's close. I'm
Yeah,
going with Aldo.
yeah, I me too. You know, I wouldn't be surprised that go other way. It's just like it's all I think depends on the first round, how it
Mhm.
starts, and if Aldo manage like to establish like a jab and start finding him with the body shots and maybe with the knees on the Merab trying to close the distance. I think Aldo for sure. If Marab start like and what I said, what I forgot, like also Aldo, he doesn't move the same like now when he's down. He's much easier target,
Mhm.
and Marab has have pretty heavy hands, you know. So I wouldn't be surprised even if Marab put him to sleep. Call me crazy, but I can see that.
That used to be a crazy thing to say, but I mean, now we have seen him get TKO'd a couple times, a
Yeah.
few times. So
So
I don't know. Like same thing as last weekend. I want the legend to win. You know, I want Aldo to win. I wanted Cruz to win.
no,
Spoiler alert: I'm rooting for Rockhold in the next fight too.
same here, same here.
Yeah,
That's why I said like I don't see even some good odds, you know, and I like what I see on Aldo plus 110, you know. So I'm gonna go with Aldo, you know, but like don't be surprised like if Mera
yeah,
put him to sleep.
yeah. This is gonna be a close fight, I think. All right,
Okay.
next one. Speaking of legends, depending on how you feel about Luke Rockhold, we got Luke Rockhold versus Paulo Costa. What are you thinking for this fight?
I think I mean I'm starting to like Luke, you know, like lately, but like this is the most two annoying guys
yeah,
in UFC,
yeah,
trust me. You know, there is like a couple more, but like these two are like on top of my list, to be honest.
yeah.
You know,
I will say Luke Rockhold is a fighter, like I'm a fan of, but it is kind of hard to like him outside of like just what is the shit that he says and you know. But as a fighter, I think he's great, and the one thing that's kind of suspect to me is his chin, his ability to take damage nowadays. But if you look at his last fight against Jan, I thought it was an interesting game plan that could have worked, but then you have the problem of people are trying to punch and kick you in the head. So that happens. But I think his game plan was great. Like he tried to actually use his grappling, which we don't really see his offensive grappling a lot. Usually he's kind of like fighting on the outside and getting his check hooks from there. But it's really interesting to see him throw as many kicks as he did, which is what I was mentioning in the Aldo fight. He threw a lot of kicks, even though he has like an injured shin. So I wonder if like in his mind he just had to throw all those kicks just to prove to Jan, but also himself, like, hey, I could throw these heavy kicks even though my shin is wrapped, it's all fucked up. He had many surgeries because of that really bad staph infection he had on his shin. So it was an interesting game plan that I thought was working well, but he got clipped, and the two times that he got connected on, it didn't look good. So against Paulo Costa, that's kind of troubling. Who Paulo Costa only throws bombs, man.
yeah, like even in the last fight against Vittori, like where after this whole craziness with the weight, and I don't know what game he was play. If he can play any game, I don't think he has enough this fight. But like after everything, what happened, like I thought he will come out of shape, and he didn't look like in a perfect shape, but
Yeah.
like still like through whole 5 rounds, like he was pacing himself, but like he was throwing haymakers, like
Yeah.
I'm surprised that somebody else that wasn't Vettori on the other side. I think he would he would finish that fight. Like Vittori is a dog. Like he got like even couple head kicks like this. He just like pushed through it.
Yeah.
So that's the question. Like you said, the biggest is like Luke's chin. You know.
Hmm.
And also, like you said, if he goes to the grappling now, it's not 205. It's not Jan. Jan is like, let's go back to it. Jan was like taking down Easy, who is champion in 185.
Yeah.
He's just another level. And like also the Jan's fighting IQ is, I think, one of the best in the game. Let's say he's one of the older guys, and like he is not maybe the fastest, this that, but like his IQ for fighting is pretty high, and that's for sure that Luke was going against. Like and Jan felt him like in that exchange, just waiting a perfect moment and managed to clip him like even end of the first round and then finish
Yeah.
in the second.
Yeah. He
So
knocked him out twice, kind of.
yeah, basically like he lost 2 times in one night. Yeah, that was pretty bad. And if you go again like Mike Bisping again, Bisping wasn't that. I don't know how many KOs Bisping had. Like,
That might be the only KO he has against Luke Rockhold.
is it possible? Yeah, I
Let's
wouldn't be
see if we get.
surprised.
Did
Let
he
me-
did he finish Mayhem Miller? I think he just beat the shit out of Mayhem Miller, but I don't think he finished him.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really like wondering. Is there? Never mind. Let's forget
Yeah.
about that. But like saying about that, his chin is questionable. Also, like he had a long break. Like coming
Mhm.
up. And for me in this fight, the most is like a mental, like because they're
Yeah.
both really in the weird situation. Like question also why Luke is coming back. Long layoff. Even before that, it was long, changing the weight category. Like now coming back down. That's the biggest question. Like that does he have like the all talent in the world, all athleticism? Like he was like a strike force champion. He was
Yeah.
like UFC champion. No doubt. You know, it's just like where his head is, like what he is saying. And I had like opportunity to listen a little bit, like, but he always had that attitude. Like
Hmm.
he's above everything. Now he sounds a little bit more humble.
Yeah.
So it's a question where he's like Paulo Costa, like lost the title. Now he lost against Vittori, and okay, lost last. Just the situation before the fight, it's like what's really concerned me. But he looks
Yo, do you know who's in his corner now?
Henry Cejudo, no,
His girlfriend.
really.
Yeah, he's going the Mike Perry route. He's got his girl in his corner, dude.
Wait for what?
I think I so he was training with Cejudo and he was in that camp. I don't know if something happened with the manager Ishmael and like Al Barracin, Cejudo's coach. But if you notice, Costa left that camp, and so did Figueiredo. Figueiredo was training there too. So both guys left, and I don't know what drama happened behind the scenes, but now his girlfriend's in. Maybe, yeah.
No,
So
talking about annoying characters. I think that guy Ishmael, what his name?
Walid Ishmael,
Walid. Yeah, like
yeah,
he's one of the most like yeah. Like I don't know.
yeah.
Like, did I follow him one little bit, I think, on Instagram, and I was just like, I cannot watch this shit. Like,
Yeah, I think some guys are good at being like the coach and the manager and staying in their spot. And then I think Waleed is one of those guys who he wants to be in the spotlight so much. That's what I gather, but I don't know.
no, me too. Like, if you look like him, like driving in the car, making the videos, like it's just like all like that's why I couldn't even like Figueroa, Davison, because like when I see who that guy around him, like,
Yeah.
and they both have like similar that attitude, and Costa and Davison, just like that's why, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, not
But they both left, and this is a weird fight because if both of them were in their prime, I would still think, man, this is such a close fight. I don't know who to pick. But I think it's safe to say, like, Costa, he's lost a couple fights. He doesn't have really a training camp from what we see. And then Rockhold, he's not in his prime either, maybe. So it's kind of hard to tell where these guys are at. One thing I will say though is like when Jan Blachowicz when he beat Rockhold, I thought like, oh man, that's really bad for Rockhold. But then after seeing what Jan did after that, right, going on to fight and win the title and defend it against Izzy, I'm thinking maybe Luke Rockhold saw that too and was like, okay, that loss wasn't so bad. It was against the champion a weight class up. So maybe that gives him some confidence because I thought he was doing okay against Jan until he got caught. You know.
Yeah, I agree, and maybe that's exactly what you said. Like, he saw like Jan went all the way, won the title, beat the easy, and then you sit at home, you're like in like what he was talking about. He had a really rough patch with his personal life, like some motivation,
Hmm.
and that was one of maybe reasons why he came back, but never mind that, like what I hear how he talks, I think he's in solid spot, how, but again, 3 years out of the cage,
Yep.
and especially like after like couple KO losses, I
Yeah.
don't I don't know. But like also like he's like a big underdog, plus 285, against
Mm.
Paulo Costa that's minus 345. So again, it's hard, like, like it's not that big difference when you see, but like again, by the odds, it's like a big difference. So I would maybe go with Rockhold, and expect like an upset. I think he can, like, if he managed to go to that wrestling exchanges and get Paulo Costa tired and put him on his back. I think he can. We can see the victory.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. I mean, I think it's been like what 4 or 5 years since his last victory, right? 3 years have been inactive for
Yeah,
sure,
I
but
think four. We go.
4 years. So I'd like to see him get a W, and I think if he's going to beat Paulo Costa, now's the time to. When he doesn't have the right camp, maybe he's not in the right mindset. I'm not convinced that Paulo Costa is even going to make 185. What's that?
5 years.
5 years since a victory.
5 years since he branched.
It's I mean it'll be a sight to be seen if he can get a win. But again, like the guys that he's lost to, these are no jokes. Jan, Ramiro, who else?
And Bisbing, like
Bisping.
basically, like
Yeah.
he had five wins, like 5 win streak, like won the title from Weidman, and then he lost from Bisbing. He beat up Branch, and then again had a chance for a
That's
title.
right. He got David Branch. Yeah.
Yeah, and basically submission to the punches. That's saying
Mm.
like, Branch is not a joke. And he
Yep.
submitted to punches. Like, he is a beast, and he is in his, and especially like that, his wrestling and ground and pound and that pressure, that he puts on. But I don't know, like just like I really, I hope he wins. Like, if I have to choose, like now, I favor more him. Like still,
Yeah, and you don't even like these guys, so that's saying a lot for you to be
yeah.
favoring Rockwell.
Yeah, and at least I like this plus 285. Something to play with like this weekend because like this is crazy. Okay, let's leave this gentleman, if we can say gentleman, behind us. Let's go to main event finally.
All right, who we got here? Uh, uh, uh. So we got Kamaru Usman versus the giant Leon Edwards.
Yeah, look at that.
Alex, where'd you get this graphic at, man?
That's official. Like that's why I'm like I'm trying to get your job at UFC. Like this is for
That's
their
what I'm
ad
saying. Who
from the
who
Fight
did
Pass.
this? Come on.
I don't know. Like they don't like Camaro anymore. Like look this difference. Like this is crazy.
All
This is
right.
like three category difference. I don't
We're,
know
we're
really.
clipping this. I'm gonna send them my work as like a part of my resume. We'll see if I can get a gig off of this. But all right. So assuming that Kamaru Usman and Leon Edwards fight at the same weight class and they're the same size, who do you have going into the rematch?
I wanna just do something. Let's go like this. And then we're gonna switch between.
Something pretty.
Yeah, this is like good for my eyes. Um honestly, this is like how to say something of my thoughts. Like what I saw from they're so similar, and that's crazy for me. Like they're both like if you look how much finishes they have, I don't count like Usman last couple fights, like where he like when he's like under the pressure, he then managed to finish the guys, like how happened with Masvidal in the second, what happened with especially against Gilbert Burns, like, and with Colby, who was like start to pick up the pace, in the first fight, and he
Mhm.
was even close in a second fight. So they're both, in my opinion, play like in the zone. How much is enough to win the fights? They're so smart there. Just like I think Usman is even better in keeping himself outside the troubles and cruising in the same, while
Mhm.
Edwards has like sometimes like a loops down, especially like if we see like end of the fight against Gunnar Nelson, even with Nate Diaz
Yep.
in the last fight. That's the pretty big one, like that, like you're more or less winning, you cannot put the guy out. And let's not joke, like Nate Diaz is not like a big welterweight, like he fought
Yeah.
in lightweight most of his career. So that's for me like the only difference, that I think Usman can do it on the higher level.
Mhm.
Now is the question, until when? Like we had Tyron Woodley. Everybody forget about Tyron Woodley now, but like he was like once upon a time, like more or less Kamaru of his time.
Yep.
Then after defeat from Kamaru, he was forgotten completely. You
Ah.
know, is it a time like in? I saw some moments in last fight against Kobe, like that Usman is not like that when Kobe was putting the pressure, that Usman is like losing between, and that's probably like um, what Edwards is saying, that his striking is not that good. How people are saying, like
Mhm.
like I'm not like I'm just getting back in the striking and start training again. So my and talking about my eyes are opening, but like I see something, but I cannot like how to say uh, explain it. You know what I want to say? And that's maybe like why Edwards is saying like that he's like much higher level. Even though like when we see Usman and how they praise him, like in really like his jab, and when he switched, like he have heavy hands, and now they're going like really like a cannons.
Yeah.
But like every time, like he even like Kobe cut a couple times with the uppercuts, in those like when under the pressure and there is like a more exchanges, and if he doesn't manage, like he's usually losing those exchanges,
Yep.
you know, and that's something that Leon Edwards can use, but like also he doesn't like to be in those exchanges. He likes more to be more technical, so he would have to change the way that he approach and do similar what Kobe did. And
Mhm.
also I never saw like people use that much, like try to chop Usman leg, especially he have a problem with the knee, and nobody really
Yeah.
had that heavy tactic to go and try to chop it. Like I mean, I saw a couple of times, like in like for far like couple of years ago, he was really good in catching that leg, even if it's inside and going for a takedown,
Hmm.
you know. But like nobody really stuck it and tried to really like keep it on distance, explode on that leg, explode
Right.
on that leg. And I think that's the way to the victory. If you want to beat Usman, you have to go to that exchanges, be willing to take his heavy hands,
Hmm.
and try to make a brawl and try to end up, because I think that's where he's losing. If you keep him on the distance and he just go 1-2, 1-2, he's pretty good and has the more power than most of the guys in that category, and trying to go for that front leg and chop it.
Hmm. I think everything you said is like spot on, right? Kicking him, especially with he's openly had like bad knees in the past. I think in one of his fights he said he probably shouldn't have even fought. I forget which. It was the first Masvidal fight. Like he had a broken nose going into there, and he couldn't walk like days before that. Like bro, you're going into these fights so battered and you can't even walk, and you're going into a title fight. That's crazy. So I think if people could really sit down on those kicks and throw them, like it could do some considerable work. One thing that impressed me about like Leon Edwards is like he's got really good striking, but after the Usman fight, I think he's been working on his grappling because against Gunnar Nelson, like I expected Gunnar Nelson to dominate all the grappling exchanges. Edwards looked pretty good. I think he reversed him a couple times and he was winning a few times. So against Gunnar Nelson, who's more of a submission grappler, jujitsu, so he has more of a submission threat than Usman. I thought Edwards looked okay. I mean,
Well,
he
he's
won the fight.
great. Like I said, that's something like he is now like getting like he after that defeat, like even like how he's saying after that defeat, he really pick up like all his game. He didn't stay only striker, like
Mm-hmm.
he's taking down people. Like even like if you go back against Usman fight, like he really like when Usman took him down first time, he was like setting up like solid triangle,
Yeah. Yep.
you
Right
know.
away into a triangle.
Yeah, so he has a weapons, like so now going to the technical side, like he shouldn't make a regular triangle. He was supposed to go to the reverse triangle,
Reverse triangle.
but
Yeah.
some other time about that. Let's
Hey.
stay on what we do here. Um, and what I wanted to say, like he really like did excellent in that fight. But again, it comes a time like I think he even end up Gunnar end up fight end up Gunnar was in the mount.
Mm-hmm.
He, I'm almost sure that end up like that. Like he was losing, so that Gunnar had a more time, he would maybe even submit him.
Uh-huh.
Also, coming back to the Nate thing, also at the end, Usman is managing to keep it and not to get in too deep danger, while we see like with Edwards in like now these two situation. I think it was a couple more. I cannot now on top of my head, like keeping that high level. You know what I want to say?
Yeah, and I think with someone like Usman, who, he wasn't known as a knockout artist, but recently he's been knocking out people that don't usually get knocked out. And so, because of that, I do think in the later rounds, Leon Edwards, he's going to be more mindful of that. Whereas, like Nate Diaz, maybe he did let his foot off the gas pedal because he wasn't expecting to get tagged really hard by Nate Diaz. And there's something about like getting surprised in the moment. You're getting ready for something and then you get surprised by it. I think a little bit that happened with Gunnar Nelson. Like Gunnar Nelson was probably expecting to just dominate him as soon as it went to the ground. And he found out that wasn't the case. It took a little bit. And then you said at the end of the round, at the end of the fight, Gunnar was actually winning. So some of that, like the element of surprise is there. And I think against Edwards, like Edwards and Usman, they're gonna be focused the whole time. I think ready for like at any second this guy could finish me.
Yeah,
So I'm expecting a technical fight where probably they're gonna be focused all 5 rounds if it doesn't get a finish.
yeah. Talking about the similarities between these two guys, even like I think their life story, like
Mm,
with the fathers, Leon's father got killed when he was like 13, 14. I don't know how old was Usman when his father was going to the prison, so it's really interesting, like I said, like from the technical aspect and the way how they fight, also their life story,
right.
and that makes it really interesting, at least for me, like I like to go in those deeper details, like, and that probably like brings the mindset, like how they grew up, like there is no father figure, like
Mm,
for the adverse, unfortunately for good, but like Usman's father, I think he spent like good amount of years in prison. I cannot remember now, but like, that's the similarities. And now I think Leon is hungry wolf, like if you go to Camaro, like he is now on top, like it's just like that ego and competitive spirit, but like how they usually say, like coming like to the nickname of Leon Edwards, Rocky, like when you're sleeping in the silks sheets, it's hard to grind,
yeah.
and Edwards is a hungry wolf now, so that's also something that.
That's a great point because I've been listening to Usman interviews, both of these guys, and Usman's already talking about kind of like retiring and what's going to happen afterwards. He's already been talking about like moving up, not one weight classes, but two weight classes.
Yeah, bro.
So is he already talking about the future and thinking about the future when he really should be focused on Edwards? Because I think Edwards, like, he can really fucking bring it. So it is interesting. Like I was just saying he should be focused all 5 rounds, but how much of that focus is he putting on Edwards before the 5 rounds even start? Like, is he focused on Canelo, who he was trying to fight, which I think is kind of bullshit, but still he's putting it out there. He's focused on Jan Blachowicz, you know, he's focused on like he says that he already cleared the division, so his legacy is intact, like it's already in place. Like, well, if that's the case, it might be difficult to fight a hungry lion, like you said, in Edwards. So it I wonder also like he beat Edwards with grappling because every time that it was striking, I thought Edwards was winning. Almost every time they were striking. But now that we've seen Usman get these knockout finishes, I wonder if like part of his ego is going to kick in and say like, "Hey, I wanna try to knock out this guy or strike with this guy."
Yeah, that would be really interesting, and that's something that I would like to see, because like I said, I saw something in his striking. Everybody is now praising, like in working with Trevor Whitman, like it really went up. But like I, I think in the last fight, I saw some sequences, and I tried to find it today. I couldn't, like that really, like especially like when there is like a more shots, like his head movement, it's like a little bit awkward and not like before,
Mm-hmm.
because like when a couple of days ago I was looking, I found like how he was moving before, how he moves now, you know, and it was like in one or two sequences, like, and I was looking again today and I didn't manage to find it fast, so I forgot about it later. And that's something that I think everybody will be surprised, especially if Edwards really comes prepared, like we said. You know, to see like what Kobe was doing, just like to accept the punch. But that's the question again: can he take heavy punch from the champ? You know, especially like if we say that Nate almost like he put him on the chicken legs.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But like what I was coming even to that, like, you know, and that nobody's talking about. Like why that, like, let's say Nate Diaz for sure doesn't have a KO power.
Uh-huh.
But if you go back to his punches, like when he managed to shake the people, and like I never heard it for anyone saying that. It's coming after that slap. So if
Yeah.
slap, because like imagine like this, if somebody is punching you with a fist, your chin is staying like probably like closed, you know?
You're bracing for it. Yeah.
Yeah, if somebody's slapping you, it's like basically like, you know, like after the slap, I think it's a reaction to open the mouth. So your
Uh-huh.
chin is down, separating from the upper chin, and then
Yeah.
two is coming. Just my crazy theory, like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, but I think there is something there because I
Yeah.
think the biggest, like, how to say, number one, I think it's influence mentally, like just go from the growing up to everything. Like for you it was less if somebody's punching you with a fist or slap you, like that's some,
Mhm.
it's bringing more nerves for some psychological reasons. I don't know, like at least it was like in my neighborhood like that.
No, I agree. Like, I'd rather get punched in the face. If you slap me, now I get like, what the fuck, man? Come on.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I think. It's everywhere. Like I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like back how it was for us, you know. And I think like that slap makes you to like your chin is going down, and then that punch is coming, and then it makes more effect because like your chin is going like,
Right.
and it
No.
makes more shake to the brain, you know. So that's my theory. Don't get me right or wrong. I just like want to put it out there, you know.
Alex Rychich, MD, medical
And
doctor.
yeah, next maybe next show we can get some doctor to confirm it.
Yeah.
Am I right or
I
wrong?
think there is something to that. Like when guys get tired and they start breathing out of their mouth, and then that's
It's
when they get
yep,
knocked out. I mean, same
exactly.
thing. Anything that could cause their jaw to kind of, disconnect instead of bracing for it.
Maybe we
But
should
I'm not a doctor either, so who knows?
no. We're gonna
Yeah.
ask Nate Diaz. Are we right or wrong?
Yeah. So at the end of the day, who are you picking for this fight?
Again, like that's why I said like for the betting, I don't like this card at all. Again, we have like
Mhm.
Kamaru Usman on minus 380. We have Leon Edwards plus 310. You know, it's just like
That's a big favorite. Like I thought it should be closer than that, I would think.
yeah, yeah. It's really like if you go back to this whole fight card, okay, we have Tyson on minus 740. We have Romanov on minus 350. Then we have like Paulo Costa minus 345, and we have Kamaru Usman minus 380. I mean, like if you connect all these four and put the money, you're an idiot. Even if you win it, you're an idiot because like, you're
Yeah,
risking so much.
you're a
Like that's
crazy
just my
guy.
opinion of the night. For the
Yeah.
end of the night, like I got
What
to
you
get
got, by
both.
the way? We usually open with what you. Oh, more boat shoes, boats and hose.
Yeah, I tried to write it down, like, but like it was like too sweaty, you know. I'm just gonna do it now. I want to keep for the. What do you have over there? Lagunitas,
I got a little something,
little something. Let's see.
little classic. Not bad.
Nice, nice. No, I was like thinking like to say at the beginning of the show because we didn't say last time, like boat and hose, you know, like next last weekend like it was like crispy boy and I was really crispy boy, you know, like I was thinking like this weekend to go for the big money, you know, so I can get both.
Hey, that sounds good.
Stephanie would not agree with the hose, you know, so but like really when I see this fight card, you know, like I don't know what to say, you know, like I really don't like it from the betting aspect.
Maybe
Maybe
just
like
sit
some
back
crazy.
and enjoy the fights. How about that?
Yeah, I will maybe go for some live bets, but like also like
Yeah.
what was the deal on the live bets? There's not gonna be too much option. Like if let's say the underdogs start winning and it's going down, then maybe you can put the money on the
Mhm.
favorite. But like because they're so big favorites, like I don't know how it's gonna move. Like this is like something first. Like I said, I didn't do it in a long time. I'm really interested to see like how the odds are gonna move.
Mhm.
So what I would like, if you have some money to waste, like maybe just like go on the underdogs, like $10 each, and then like depends how much I'm saying, like how much I'm like good to lose,
Uh,
and then just like depends how fight moves. If
I mean, every single underdog on this card is in pretty good shape to win, I think. So if you go for that, you could win some decent money. I think nobody is a complete blowout. Probably Tyson Pedro being the biggest favorite on this card. That makes sense.
yeah,
Going
that's
against
what I was saying. But like also like honestly, guys, like Harry has his chance, even
yeah.
with that last name. Like it's Sucker. It's gonna maybe be like lucky. No, it doesn't rhyme. I had something in my
Almost.
head. It rhymed in my head. Like saying about that, like I love the fights. I love everything. I don't love, like I said again, from the betting aspect for this weekend. But we're gonna have like at least big names, like big fight, and super fun card.
Yep, I agree, man. I'm excited for this card, so it's gonna be good watch.
That's it.
All right, brother. Cheers and good night.
Cheers. Good night, brother.